So I've been thinking about putting together a top 20 Tiziana Terenzi fragrances video, a list, but they have so many fragrances and I thought let's break them down into a themed video of fragrances. And I was going through a lot of the Tiziana Terenzi fragrances and I realized that there's a lot of fruity fragrances in the collection. In fact, there's 14 or 15 in my collection. I'm only featuring 12 of them here. And I'm ranking this list today of my favorite fruity fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi. So, if you're a fan of this house or you're just willing to learn about this house and discover their fruity fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yeah, today I'm talking about Tiziana Terenzi, one of my favorite houses, and I have realized that they do have a lot of fruity fragrances. And even though I was going to do a more of a theme of flowers, and as I was going through my collection, I realized I have more fruity fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi than I do, floral fragrances. So I thought, let's put together this list. There's 12 total fragrances here. I left off 2 or 3 of them. I think it was 14 or 15 in my collection. They were either not my favorites or they were not as fruity, even though they have fruits listed in the notes for the fragrances. So 12 Tiziana Terenzi fragrances that are fruity, ranked by me. But before I get to the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. I also wanted to let you know that soavantgarde.com, which I have a link to in the info box, the distributor for Tiziana Terenzi fragrances, plus many other brands, is having a sale from June 24th through June 27th, 30% off fragrances, and you can use my discount code Sebastian30 to save 30% off during this period, 24th through the 27th. Alright, we're going to start off this list with Orza from Tiziana Terenzi at number 12. And this is a gorgeous fragrance. Sadly, it ended up at the bottom because the way I was ranking it, I just kind of ended up slipping down, down, down. It is definitely fruity, but somehow it's ended up at number 12. And I'm going to go with it. At number 12, it is Orza, as I said. So the notes in here are vanilla, coconut, caramel, wild berries, green apple, plums, orchid, musk, amber, jasmine, magnolia. A lot's going on here, and it's definitely fruity and vanillic. Lightly coconutty, not over the top coconutty. So it goes a little tropical, not a lot, but the berries really stand out for me a lot. And then it does get sweet, caramelly, a little syrupy, and ambery, of course. Lots of flowers here, and definitely fruits. The green apple, wild berries, coconuts together work beautifully together. And then, of course, the plums come in as well. It's a beautiful fusion of fruits, but sadly, this one ended up at the bottom at number 12. So that's Orza at number 12. The next fragrance at number 11, it's Hallie, this one right here. And Hallie is passion fruit, once again. This is a lot fruitier, but sadly it's not my favorite fruity fragrance, but it has loads of passion fruit, peach, raspberry, cassis, so lots of fruits here. Musk, vanilla, woods, amber, floral notes, rose, green notes. So it's got lots of different notes here, but this is definitely a fruity fragrance, and the passion fruit kind of sort of reminds me of a few other fragrances in this list because passion fruit does come up quite a bit in the Tiziana Terenzi fragrances collection. But this also has the peach, and I think peach and passion fruit work wonderfully together. But they have thrown in the raspberry and cassis here that's also a little green and a little more berry-like. But in the end, it's definitely musky. I think musk is prominent in a lot of these fragrances. And it does sweeten up when it's in the base. There is some vanillic touches, and it does get ambery with the woods. Along the way, you'll experience some light green touches. I think the green touches does come from the cassis note, but there are some like green ivy-like leafy touches in here as well, with very, very light floral undertones as well. So I think this is a great scent. Sadly, it's at the bottom, because it kind of reminds me of a few other fragrances that I really like as well. So it ended up at number 11. So Hallie from Tiziana Terenzi is at number 11. Up next, it's a fragrance called Draco, this one right here in the white bottle. So Draco is a peachy fragrance and very, very musky. And also, it's fruity, but not over the top fruity. The fruits are there, Peaches and pears are what the fruits are in here. So it's not overly fruity, but you can definitely pick out the fruits. They stand out, but it's not like something like passion fruit or something a little more prominent fruitiness, if that makes sense. The musk is really, really prominent, so you do experience lots of musk in this one, along with peach, magnolia, pear, vanilla, tonka beans, jasmine, heliotrope, bergamot, lemons, and orange. So it's a nice fusion of musks with some fruits, and then of course lots of citruses. The heliotrope comes in and adds some light almondy touches, because as soon as you put your nose to it, there's that lightly almondy, slightly coconutty touch in here. Very, very lightly coconutty. It's more almonds, but there's a little bit of a hint of coconuts in here as well. And that's definitely prominent from that heliotrope note. So I think it's a great scent. Sadly, it's at the bottom because I wanted it to jump out at me a little more. The fruits, it didn't. But I think it's a great musky experience. And it's a little more of a subtle fruits and subtle flowers. So things are not jumping out too much in contrast to some of the other fragrances in this brand, because there are really, really prominent notes in here. So if you like a little more subdued, but not in performance, just from the smells, I think definitely Draco at number 10 will do. I think if you like musk, a cleanish musk, not like an animalic musk, with those light fruits and flowers and citruses, definitely try Draco. I think it'll satisfy for sure. Now at number 9, this might disappoint some of you. Probably this house is known for this fruity fragrance. I know it has a lot of fans, but sadly it's at number 9. This is Kirke, this one right here. So this was my very first experience with Kirke. I don't know why I put it at number 9. I know it has fans, but it just doesn't happen to be one of my all-time favorites from this house. But it's definitely a darn good fragrance. Once again, there's musk here. There's passion fruit with peach and pear, raspberry, cassis, vanilla, sand, sandalwood, patchouli, and heliotrope. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of Halley. A little bit. But they're different. Here, I think the fruits are a little more standout. They do jump out at you. And, you know, again, it does smell great to me. It's a nice musky, fruity composition with a light, you know, woody hint under there. The woods definitely pop with the vanilla in the base. And once again, heliotrope comes up. It does come up frequently with the Tiziana Terenzi fragrances. And when you smell that heliotrope note, you got to realize there is a little bit of an almondy touch in there. This one doesn't get as coconutty as Draco does, because there is a little bit of a coconutty thing happening in Draco. I don't know where it's coming from. But here, it's mostly about the fruits settling to a vanillic sweet woods kind of a thing. Definitely has fans, as I said. Just happens to be at number 9 here for me, but it is a definite solid release, and you might dig this one the most out of the entire collection. So Kirke at number 9. So next up, we're going to a fragrance called Atlantide. This one right here, the one that's in the aquarium type of display or coffret box. If you haven't caught my video on this collection of fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi, you should go catch that video. And Atlantide I first discovered also in late summer of 2019. And in the humidity, this one really, really shines. I think the notes are perfect in here. It's got tuberose, narcissus, passion fruit, bergamot, and rose. And everything is just really, really perfectly balanced out and blended together and then sprayed on. Really, really amplifies off of you. The reason I've ranked it low is it's not ultra fruity. For me, it's more floral. Lots of tuberose here. It's definitely white flower. And you know, it matches the color of the bottle. As you can see, it's all white. So tuberose are white. And I think the contrast of the kind of yellowish gold color with the white is perfectly what it reminds me of tuberose. But there's a narcissus note in here, a little smoky, a little minerally, along with that passion fruit note, and then of course bergamot and rose. I think it's really, really great. It's a pure kind of fragrance similar to this, a clean, pure white, definitely fits the white bottle. There's one more white bottle fragrance here. Kind of doesn't fit that bottle. It happens to be one of my favorites, but this definitely does. It's very, very angelic. But once again, Tiziana Terenzi fragrances are over the top, intense. Extrait de parfum concentration. So a little goes a long way. And for a great, great fragrance, I think you should definitely check out Atlantide from Tiziana Terenzi. And again, it's ranked a little lower because it's not as fruity. Does that make sense? So, Atlantide at number 8. So next up, once again, we're going to the Sea Stars collection, and this is Poggia, this one right here. And this is my second favorite from the Sea Stars collection. My number one favorite is Telea, but this is definitely Poggia. And Poggia is a great combination of beautiful notes. It does get a little animalic on me for some odd reason. It might be a little too much when it's a little warm outside, but it's really, really fantastic fragrance. And this one features notes of musk, rosemary, rose, lemons, ylang-ylang, ambergris, passion fruit, green apple, peach, and bergamot. Really, really great scent. Really, really stands out on me, and everything is really, really beautifully amplified, but lots of musk here. It's a overdose of musk, and as I was saying earlier, musk does come up quite frequently with the fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi, and it definitely satisfied. But this particular fragrance also gets very, very aromatic and ambery when it's drying down. Woody experience, but once again, really, really intense extrait de parfum concentration. This one next to Telea, although I think this one's a little more intense than Telea. Just there's something really beefy about this one that's really, really over the top intense. So a little goes a long way, but smells fantastic. But just be careful, it is a little animalic. There's a little bit of like ambergris like touch under there, or something a little musky that goes a little animalic, but smells fantastic. So Poggia is at number 7. At number 6, it is Telea from Tiziana Terenzi from the Sea Stars collection. So Telea I did a full review of on the channel. If you haven't caught that, go catch it. There's a video of the entire Sea Stars collection, and then there's also a review of Telea. And I really love this one because it's definitely musky. And even when I first experienced the fragrances, the collection in 2019, Telea was my favorite. I don't know if it was because of the font they're using on here or not, but it just totally stood out for me. But this one features loads of musk with pears, rose, citruses, mahogany, vetiver, oak, hawthorn, Cambodian oud, ylang-ylang. So lots of stuff going on, and this is definitely not ultra fruity. It's probably one of the least fruitiest ones, but I think the musk and the pear really work beautifully. They join beautifully together. Fruit like pears I've seen come up in musky fragrances, and they do complement wonderfully together. But here you've got a lot more stuff happening. There's definitely lots of woods, earthy, woodsy vetiver. There's oak as well, the mahogany here, and then of course that rose. There's a little bit of a rosy touch, but gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. I think it wears beautifully, and even though it seems over the top intense, wears great in the summertime. I think this one really does wear great, and it smells fantastic on me. So Telea at number 6. This next one ended up having fruits in it, and I recently featured it in a lilac fragrances video, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance from Tiziana Terenzi. Aphrodite. If you don't know this one, definitely check it out. Those of you that love the smell of lilac flowers, I think this is definitely a winner. Lots of great smells in here, but loads of lilac with white currants, white musk, white peach, neroli, ambergris, ebony wood, tuberose, iris, geranium, vanilla. I think the fusion of the notes are just gorgeous. To die for smells. Lilac, white currant, white musk, white peach. Hey, I'll go with it. I think that combination is wonderful. And then there's the citrus flowers, neroli, a little ambergris in here, and then woods, ebony wood. I think the combination is fantastic. Wears great on me, but it's not as intense as some of the other fragrances. I think Poggia is definitely really, really intense, extremely intense. And then also Hali. Hali is really intense. The rest of them are intense, but not as intense as the ones I've mentioned so far. And this one, again, it's one of the less intense ones, but as a smell, it's really, really fantastic on me. I really love lilacs, and this one definitely doesn't disappoint, along with the fruits. So Aphrodite at number 5. The next one is at number 4. It's really, really fruity, and then also very, very musky. I think the fruits and the musks together are working beautifully with the Tiziana Terenzi brand. Tabit. Are you guys familiar with Tabit? So delicious, guys. Really, really delicious. Lots of musk here, lots of peach, cotton candy, floral notes, vanilla, woods, amber, green notes, coconut, sand, bergamot. Wonderful, wonderful fragrance. If you like peachy fragrances, get your nose on this one. Really doesn't disappoint. It definitely settles to woods, definitely settles to ambers and vanilla, but up top it's really, really peachy and fruity, and the cotton candy sweetens things up, you know, adds a little bit of a sweet touch to the fragrance. But along the way, you'll experience the floral touches, and of course, it's overly musky. Really love that about this one. It smells great on me. It's overly intense, lasts a long, long time, and it doesn't disappoint. This one, even though once again, it's really, really intense, I think you can totally pull this one off in the summertime for a really, really long-lasting, fruity, musky experience. So Tabit at number 4. I almost want to say Tabitha when I think of Tabit, the fragrance. I don't know why. So next up at number 3, it's a fragrance called Borea. This one right here. Boy, this is good. So everything now is like really, really great for me. I think the top 5 is really solid. Some of my favorite fruity fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi, and Borea doesn't disappoint. This one, on the other hand, is lots of fruits, but also has powdery touches thrown in there, and it definitely gets powdery along with the fruits and the ambery woods and things like that. It also has lots of white flowers, so the combination is juicy, fruity, floral, and powdery, with notes of coconut, almonds, pear, plum, vanilla, musk, tuberose, freesia, jasmine, rose, oak moss. Really a delicious fragrance, guys. I really love wearing this one. This one's definitely acting more like a gourmand. And also, I think the powderiness and the intensity of this fragrance might be better suited for when it's cooler outside. So wear with caution when it's really, really hot outside. I personally don't have rules, so I would wear this in the summertime, but I can see that this can be really, really heavy and cloying when it's really hot and humid outside. But it smells amazing. I really love Borea. At number 3, it's Borea. Next up is one, well, at number 2, I think everything after this is just like the most amazing from this house. And I fell in love with this one probably about 4 years ago. And instant love with this one. And once again, it has passion fruit, but there's something in here that's really creamy gourmand that just throws it over the top, beautiful and gorgeous to wear. Velorum, wonderful, wonderful fragrance. So this one has loads of passion fruit with almonds. Passion fruit, almonds comes up quite frequently, right? Musk does come up as well. It's got musk in here. So passion fruit, almonds, white chocolate, musk, vanilla, tea, mandarin orange, ginger, lotus, tonka. The gourmand touch in here is that white chocolate. And even though white chocolate doesn't have like dark chocolate qualities, just adds this creaminess to the fragrance, and it's a beautiful contrast to the passion fruit. So you've got this really fruity top notes and creamy, milky white chocolate touches that's gorgeously to die for. A delicious wearing experience, very, very gourmand, and this one also, I think it might get a little cloying. It might get cloying with the white chocolatey creamy touches when it's really warm outside. But again, as I say, there's no real rules. It smells fantastic on me. And then, of course, with all the stuff that I mentioned, it does definitely get musky and vanillic as well. And one other thing I should say about this one, it's a very cozy scent for something that has these fruity touches and things like that. The tea and the vanilla adds this like cozy layer to the fragrance, and I just put it on. It's just very, very comforting, you know, relaxes me. And I like that about this one, even though it has that really, really prominent, very, very fruity top note of passion fruit. So Velorum at number 2. If you guys don't know that one, please do check it out. I think it smells fantastic. Can you guess my number 1? I've spoken a lot about this one, and even though it has lots of fruits in it, it's not your traditional fruits that I spoke about today. I didn't even speak about any of these fruits in here. It's actually nondescript fruits. They're fruits known as dried fruits is what is the note here. I'm talking about number 1, Ursa. Ursa is just a great scent for me. Really love this particular fragrance, and I think it's because of the combination of all the notes. The notes are here, the fruity notes are dried fruits, so I'm picking up things like apricots, maybe plums, maybe figs, maybe you know, peaches, nectarines, things like that. But it's more like the yellow stone fruit, like apricots and things like that, because there's a tartness under there. And nectarines and peaches do have some tartness, especially when they're not fully ripe. So leather, dried fruits, patchouli, rum, elemi, tobacco, incense, vetiver. I think it's a top-notch release. And once again, very different from everything else I've spoken about today. Different fruits here, but still fruity with the dried fruits. Also boozy, Definitely leathery animalic. You know, you've got that animalic leather in here. And of course, patchouli lovers will definitely be satisfied with this one. I think the combination is fantastic. Really, really great fragrance. One of my favorites from Tiziana Terenzi. Definitely a #1 fruity fragrance from Tiziana Terenzi. So, Ursa at #1. And so that's my list of fruity fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi, a top 12 ranked from number 12 to #1. Really great fragrances, as I said, and I didn't realize that, you know, they have tons of fruity fragrances in this house. It's interesting that they do, and I have a lot of them here. And I wanted to do a floral list, but we're doing, of course, the fruity list. And fruity fragrances can be great to wear in the summertime, and I enjoy the fruitiness. And some can lean towards gourmand and things like that. As I said, the discount code at So Avant-Garde is Sebastian30. It's 30% off of all the fragrances there, including the ones I spoke to you about today. And it goes from June 24th through the 27th. I have a link in the info box. Anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Are you a fan of Tiziana Terenzi fragrances? Do you like fruity fragrances? And do you know these ones from Tiziana Terenzi? Let me know. Put a comment down. If there are other Tiziana Terenzi fruity fragrances, let me know, because this is all I had, obviously. I left off 2 or 3 of them, and this is definitely a solid list of fruity fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi, but there could be others out there that I'm not aware of. Anyway, put a comment down so I can find out. Either way, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today to watch this top 12 fruity fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.